Hello everyone, welcome to Elliottwave-Forecast.com YouTube channel. My name is Henry Lau and today is Thursday, March 21st, 2019 and the time is 3:45 a.m. GMT. So today is the Fed's meeting day and very interesting reaction in the Forex market and all asset classes basically. But today we will be looking at the stock market, especially Apple. This is a 45 minutes chart, which is a short-term chart of the stock. And over here we got this rally in Apple. We got this with 2 here, the pullback to 169.50. Okay, and then the rally here is in the wave 3, and we got the wave 4 pullback, now finishing the wave 5. Right, so as you can see, this wave 5 over here is going to also finish with C and with B. So we're going to talk about this in a little bit later. But over here, we are ending a 5 waves from somewhere below, and this is the area we expect, or a potential area in which Apple can end this wave 5. Now wave 5 itself can be measured in many different ways. One of the ways to do it is using this external retracement of the wave 4, right? So if you do measure the retracement in the wave 4 like this, and then this is usually the typical retracement, you know, like 50%, 61.8%, and so on. But if you put in here 1.236, that's what we call an external retracement, which is typically also another possible target from the wave 5 to the upside. All right, and here this area then is one of the ways that we could possibly end the 5 waves in Apple, and then from there Apple can start turning to the downside. Now let's take a look at the slightly higher degree here. I will take a look at daily chart. Now take a look at this one on the daily. After topping out in 2018 on October, this decline here, it does look impulsive. I mean, it's very hard not to label it as an impulse when it was looking very impulsive, right? And you can see that it kind of dropped almost 40%, right? It dropped 40% in just 3 months, right? In just 3 months, Apple dropped 40%. And right here, okay, since then, after bottoming on in January of this year, Apple starts to rally nicely until today basically. But the rally has started to reach the 50% retracement now. It's already at 50% retracement of the entire decline. And since this is an impulse, right, and if this is a 5 waves, Elliott Wave theory says that you need to at least have an ABC, right? Some sort of a 535 structure here. Now, the only way that Apple can continue to go higher and then break above last year's peak, the only way that can happen is if it is a wave C of a flat here. That this 5 waves is part of a wave C of a flat from somewhere. But if you look at this Apple chart here, it's kind of hard for you to label this as a flat. You cannot label this as, for example, like this, an A, B, C flat, because then you will have a very short B and a very long C, which is not really realistic, right? So that means that I think the most likely interpretation of this move in Apple then is that this move lower here, because it is 5 waves, it's got to be only in the first leg of this entire move, or this entire correction, if you want to call it correction, right? And so that means that this rally that we have so far in Apple is only a counter trend rally. Ultimately, Apple is going to roll over and then, you know, is going to extend lower in another 5 waves down to finish at least some sort of an A, B, C, 3 waves big correction to the downside. Now the question is, how far will this rally continue, right? That's really the question. Well, we know that based on this view here, so this is going to be your absolute level that you think should not be violated, right? Now, as far as this peak here remains in Apple, now one day this is going to roll and then starts to do the C leg, to the downside, or at the least in the worst case scenario, we're going to be doing a larger pullback first here. It still can do something like this, but at the least you're going to do a three-ways pullback first, right? Now again, looking at the shorter cycle again, back to the 1 hour chart. So we are now is in the last phase here to end the wave 5 of C. So again, looking at this structure here, this looks impulsive, and then now this is your wave 2, right? 2, 3, and then 4. So this is your 2, 3, 4. So we are doing some sort of an ABC here, and we are ending the last leg of the C, and so we are ending the wave 5 of C, and then the ABC is going to end this entire zigzag correction to correct this entire decline, right? And so once that is completed, right, then Apple can start to roll on the downside. At least it's gonna be correcting this entire cycle. Still can do something like this, but otherwise, as far as this level is holding, ultimately Apple should see more downside. Ultimately should see below 140 $1. I know that some of you may not be happy to hear this, right, because you are bullish Apple, but that's what the structure is telling us at this point from Elliott Wave theory. Okay, so now that's what we are looking for. Now regarding as to when exactly Apple starts turning lower, that's really the question in the shorter cycle, but the key level is going to be in the last year's peak, right? Now the blue boxes here may or may not be surpassed. It can go above this. Like I said, there are many different ways to measure wave 5. Another way to measure it is wave 1 equal to wave 5. So if that's the case, then you can see it can rally a little bit more, right? A little bit more if wave 1 equal to wave 5. And then there is still another way to measure it, which is using starting off the wave 1 to wave 3, and then you can use a 61.8 extension of this, which can bring us to 197 or around $200 in Apple, right? So there are a couple of different ways to measure wave 5. So the key is not really to be fixated too much about, oh, it has to turn lower exactly from this little area between 191 192, right? But it's rather that to understand the bigger picture here, that ultimately Apple should be ending this entire rally because this looks impulsive. Then it should start to turn lower again, which means that then when that happens, the index is gonna get weak again, and we are near that time, right? We are near that time. Not yet. I mean, you can see the sell-off is not yet happening that much, but we are near that time. And over here, potentially we can even end the whole thing, because technically you do have, let me see if we do get a marginal high here, 189.26, 189.49. So there is a marginal high here. So technically you can even end the wave 5 already here, because you do have a marginal high. So instead of ending with 105, you could have ended the entire wave 5, and if that's the case, then you could start to go lower. Or still another possibility, you can do a flat, for example. So shorter cycle is always messy, right? The shorter the time frame that you're looking at, the more oscillation you can get, the more noise you can get. So you can do a flat with one more push higher before ending this entire B, and then starts to roll. But the idea is, again, that the message here really is we are getting closer and closer to end this entire cycle that starts from January this year. We are getting there, right? And getting ready here. We should be all getting ready. We are getting there, and then should soon see some sort of correction, either in 3 waves or even going to the next leg to the downside. Now again, still can do this, still can do, even if it rolls, like I said, it still can do even something like this. So we can end the C, but then that could end only with W, right? That could end only with W, let's say, and then you got an X, which is a correction of this entire cycle, and then you got another Y. That is also a possibility still, but bottom line is that this cycle is nearly over. We reached 50% retracement, so now we should get ready for Apple to start to roll or to turn lower soon. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, if you want to see our forecast, more up-to-date forecast in hourly basis, then hourly time frame, you can check out our service. We have 14 days free trial, and the link is provided in the description of the video. So see you all again tomorrow.